what's up, you guys? How's it going? It's Papa, and I'm going to be showing you guys the list that I played at my LA regional that I just came back from. It was 10 rounds, 976 players, and I went X3, getting 74th with pure Spright. And it was top 64 cutoff, and I know there was X3 players that got in there. I was unfortunately not one of those. I came really close to getting that invite, but I ended up bubbling, and it sucks, but at least I know that the deck went really well. I was X2 for about half the tournament, and then, or a little over half the tournament, I should say. I got my last round, I got my last match in the last round, and it sucked, but you know, it is what it is. All I know is that the deck was really good. I really liked the build that I was on, and I'll be explaining the card choices in this video, of course. And yeah, the deck was good. My matchups, I played against two of my teammates from my locals, and what else? Damn, I'm sorry. This is gonna be. I'm really tired, but I ended up playing against two friends, and then I played against Punk. I played against one hero, and then one tier, two math mech, and then 5 mirror matches. So I didn't really get like a whole lot of diversity. Half of my tournament I spent playing against the mirror, and I won 4 of the mirror matches. I lost 1 due to like bad bricking. I opened up 4 hand traps and like a random Spright name, and I just wasn't able to play, which sucks. But it is what it is. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! And without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the list. Starting off with the list, I did play, of course, 3 copies of blue. You have to play 3 blue. I shouldn't explain too much. 3 copies of Jet, same thing. This was different from what a lot of people play. I played 2 reds. I know a lot of people have been switching down to 1 red, but I still opted to play 2 just for the safety of it. It's a really generic list, but I still opted to play 2 reds because I felt more safer playing the second red, and then worst comes to worst, I always sided out the second red if I needed to, but 2 reds was fine. 1 carrot. You don't need 2 carrot. I know that there's people that have been trying 2 carrot just to play around like Mystic Mine and stuff, but you just need the 1 carrot. It was really good. And then 1 pixie still. I think the 10 names was fine. I didn't really want more. I didn't really want less. You're playing the 3 starter with the prosperities as well, so you didn't really need to play any more names that you didn't need to. But 10 Spright monsters, no more, no less. A big thing that I played that was different from my previous builds is that I went for Nimble Beaver instead of Diva. This was good. This was really good, actually. The summoning effect from the graveyard actually did come up. It's another water that you can just pitch for Swap Frog if you need to, but Beaver definitely resolved for me more than Diva ever has. Most people feel more safe when they see a Beaver, I guess, but I would normal summon the Beaver, and then I would just instantly go for the Gigantic because it would help me play around Nibiru, and then on that it just like forced a hand trap as well, just to know what my opponent was playing, or just know what kind of interaction he had. And then basically when I get to the extra deck, I'll explain what happened when I would get my Gigantic stopped, but 3 Beaver was really good for me. 3 copies of Swap Frog. Shouldn't have to explain this. This is really good. 1 Ronin still. You don't need dupe. I just despise dupe in this deck, but these cards are insane. I did draw Ronin a lot. I think that was another downfall of like why I didn't top, because Ronin just was glued to my hand all day, and it was a really terrible feeling to have. But Ronin was in my hand probably at least once or twice every match, depending on the circumstance. But you can still combo with Ronin as long as you have another name. But if they're smashing, if they go normal summon Ronin and then they smasher it away, you're basically just kind of screwed. So it is what it is. On to the hand traps. I opted to play 3 Nib for this event. Jose convinced me to play 3 Nib in the main deck, and at first I was really against it, but it was actually really like average. I don't think I would play it again going forward. Definitely wouldn't play it for locals in the main deck, but I did like the idea of having the 3 Nib paired with all the other hand traps. I did find myself siding it out going first, but it was good for like the blind. I think I only resolved it twice, once against a Mathmech player, and then once against or the hero guy I played. But other than that, Nib never really came up too much for me. 3 Ash, of course. You have to play 3 Ash. It's just probably the most generic hand trap that you can play. I opted for 2 Bell. I'm really glad I played Bell. I was opting not to play this at all for the event, but 2 Bell actually was really good. I'm still playing Crow, but I really did like playing Bell because it came up a lot against Mathmag when they like go for the effects to summon from grave, and then which I just wasn't expecting to play against Mathmag at all, and that was one of my losses, so it feels kind of bad. But this is really good against Tier Element, really good against Rogue. It's good for hitting the Elf, but it really did have a lot of usages. I kind of wish I played 3 of it, but it was fine at 2. 2 Veiler. I know this looks questionable, but I didn't like having multiple Veilers because I'm playing the 3 Imperms as well. So I just decided to have like 5 forms of like the summon negation, and then it also sucks like when you draw for turn because you can't use it. Granted, like you can't really do that with a lot of hand traps anyway, but during your turn and you draw this for turn, it feels kind of bad. So I'd rather just draw during my opponent's turn, but that's also why I just opted to play 2 instead of 3. So it was good. And then of course 3 Crow. This is probably the best hand trap this format. It's so good. Like there's no reason not to play 3 of it. And then 3 copies of Imperm as well to pair with it. So it was a lot of hand traps. It was at least 17, I think, in the main deck. There was definitely way too many. Well, I mean, not way too many, but like it was a lot to some. But I actually saw myself pairing 2 hand traps almost every turn 1. And then there was those instances which was just bad luck where I just didn't see any at all. But most of the time I did find myself seeing about 1 to 2 copies of a hand trap per turn, or per opening hand. So it was good. 3 copies of starter, of course, for the spells. You have to play the 3 starter. It's super standard. This was weird. I only played 2 prosperity. I was playing 3 for the longest time, and if you see my list in the past, you see that I do play 3 of this card, but I opted just to play 2. I find it myself anyway, like siding out the second copy, or not the second copy, the third copy for going second anyway. Also, I just don't want to like brick on multiple copies of this since you can only resolve it once, and this doesn't really get ashed either, so I felt safe just having like the 2. Most people are ashing like the starter or like the blue or definitely like the gigantic, but Pot ended up resolving a lot today. I think there was only one time where I got negated and I still won the match. So 2 Pot was fine. I ended up still siding them out anyway for like going second because there's no way this card resolves going second. But I never missed the 3rd Pot. It was really good. I still played 2 talents in the main deck. I think going forward, I might want to try cutting it, but a lot of people played around talents really well during the event. A lot of like it didn't help that I played against 5 Spright matches, because otherwise I think this card would have been really subpar. It wasn't really like that good against everything else. It was mainly just good against the Spright matches, but it's good against Tier, it's good against Spright, but when it comes to like the rogue decks, it really didn't do too much liking for me. And then I opted to play 1 copy of Feather Duster in the main deck. I wanted to respect Mystic Mine, which is weird because the whole tournament I just didn't run into a single Mystic Mine deck, and I don't think any of my opponents even activated a Mystic Mine against me the whole 10 rounds of the tournament. This was mainly just as like a going away present for Mine decks, because we're probably going to get a ban list any day now, and when we do, Mystic Mine's probably going to be gone. But it was just there as just another form of removal, because when they get rid of when they bait the Smashers, they're expecting you not to have a main deck out anymore, so they just free activate the Mystic Mine and just pass, thinking that the Spright deck doesn't have a target to remove it. So you just prosperity, you just keep grinding until you grab the Feather Duster, and then you just go off from there. So I'm really glad I played it. It was really good. And of course, to wrap up the main deck, it's the 1 copy of Smashers. That's it for the main. It's 42 cards in the main deck, or 42, right? Yeah, 42 cards in the main deck. I just kind of didn't feel comfortable like cutting things that I didn't want to cut. Like with the whole advice on the Nibiru, I just opted to just keep going, and then I just resulted in 42. I could have played 43. I was debating on playing 43 by putting the 3rd Veiler in, but I ended up just deciding against it. So 42 in the main. For the extra deck, What I played was Toad. This should arguably not have to be explained because of how good it is. Toad was definitely MVP of the extra deck. Mannequin Cat, this was also convinced to me to play from Jose, but I think I made it once and it didn't even come up. I just used it to just push for game because I had already used my Centaria, and I don't know, I don't think I would play this going forward. I took out the Water Charmer for this card, and I definitely missed the Water Charmer more than summoning the Mannequin Cat, so I think going forward I'm just going to put the Water Charmer back in because this wasn't really that good. One Centaria, of course, you kind of have to play it. It just helps you go into your Zeus. Downer, Zeus, Dynamic Duo. And then 2 Gigantics. Again, don't really need to explain this too much. This card probably didn't really, honestly, this card didn't resolve a lot today, to be expected, because this is actually just the one card you want to hit in this deck, other than the Toad, of course. But this almost didn't resolve, at all for the entire 10 rounds, and I was still able to win my matches. This got stopped definitely at least once or twice every matchup in some way, shape, or form. But the card's still great. You still have to play it, because once it goes off for good. So 2 Gigantic. Something I was playing was 3 Elves. I definitely liked the idea of 3 Elves, but to be honest with you, I never summoned the 3rd Elf. I ended up banishing the 3rd Elf most of the time off of Prosperity, but there has been times in the past where I have needed the 3rd Elf, and I ended up cutting the Halqifibrax to play the 3rd Elf, which is why I went the Beaver route, and it was fine. I never missed Halq because I never felt safe doing the add a hand trap play, because I was always fearing Nib. It was a regional. I was expecting a lot of people to be main decking Nib for the Spright for the tier element matchup, but I definitely felt safer with the 3rd Elf, and a lot of people don't see it coming, so really good. Then I played Masquerena. This was my safety net in case my Gigantic got negated. So I would just make my Elf, target a guy, summon the IP, so that way I still had a form of interruption that wasn't a negate, but it was still something to just make into Unicorn or Phoenix, whatever card I needed. But Masquerena was really good for that reasoning. I played Dark Charmer. You kind of have to play Dark Charmer. I was able to resolve it a few times where I got to combo from using their cards, so definitely play the Dark Charmer. 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn. This was my targets to make off of the Masquerena. Phoenix I actually made surprisingly a lot during the tournament. This was really good for hitting random floodgates, and that's basically what I had it in here for. I wanted it to get rid of Goza match, because you can use the red, the elf, the carrot, all to get rid, or all to go into the Phoenix, so that way you can just pop the Goza match. Same thing for fuck, I can't even think of the other one. Sorry, it's been a long day. But Phoenix was really good. Unicorn, of course, was amazing. This card also just helps you go for game, because on that you just summon Big Daddy Access Code. So that's it for the not side deck. That's it for the extra deck. Full 15 cards. No more, no less, of course. But for the side deck, this is where it was kind of hard to build. The side deck was definitely a big issue of what I wanted to play and cards that I didn't play, and I don't know which one I preferred more, but this is what I resulted on. We started off with the 1 Pankratops. This is really broken in the Spright mirror because it just attacks over the Toad, and then during the battle phase you just pop the Elf too, so that way they can't bring the Toad back during your turn. So really good there. The second Smashers, again, I really wanted to respect Mystic Mind, so this was really good against Mystic Mind. This was good in the mirror match. It also made it to where, if you opened up 1 copy of Smashers, then you could just grab a starter off a jet to make sure that you're safe for your follow-up turn. But really good card. I definitely sided it in a lot. 3 Dark Ruler in the main. I was playing, or not in the main, in the side. I was playing this in the main deck, but I ended up breaking out multiple copies of this, so I ended up taking it out and playing it in the side. And honestly, I think it was correct that way. I didn't miss it in the main deck too much, because most of the time when I drew hand traps, I ended up stopping my opponent from making a board anyway, so 3 Dark Ruler was definitely correct to play it in the side for the event. 2 Appointer. I was not playing Trap Trick, and I tried Trap Trick. It was not good. I didn't really like it that much, because it's really ugly because if you're not seeing side deck cards anyway, then you have like, I want to say like 5 dead cards in your main deck, and it was just not good. But a pointer was amazing. Probably would just play 3 of this going forward in the future, because most of the time I would get hand trapped, and then I would do prosperity and talent, and then have talent, look at the hand, steal a card out, and then my opponent would be on 3 cards in hand for my double negate board. So I felt really good. Definitely want to try playing 3 of this going forward because of how insane it is. 2 anti-spell. This card was actually really good as well. This card should arguably be banned if you haven't seen my prediction list at all, but this card should realistically be banned because of how powerful it is. But I don't think I would play 3. 2 was fine. And then 2D barrier. I wish I could say that I resolved this card, but I didn't. I sided it in for the mirror match, but I never needed it because I was already sitting pretty and he was just top decking, and it was good. But I don't think I would, I don't know, it's hard to tell. I really want to try Sanctum, but I opted just to save room in the side deck anyway and just opted for the 2 copies of D-Barrier instead. And then I was on 3 copies of Evenly Match. I took Lightning Storm out of the side deck because I wanted to try playing this. With Anti-Spell being very heavy in the format and a lot of people playing a pointer and all the other stuff, I just felt that like having Evenly was just safer. Because if you like Dark Ruler or Evenly a tier player, their follow-up is really hard. So I opted just to try Evenly. And the sad thing about this was that I never even saw this card. It's broken, don't get me wrong, but during the whole event, I did not see this card once. And like, granted, I didn't need it to win when I did side it in, but I just wish I kind of saw it just to see how it was during the testing. But it is what it is. And then the last card I played was a red reboot. No reason not to play this card. This card's insane. It's good against basically everything. So that's going to go ahead and do it. Again, I went 7-3. I went X3 at the LA Regional playing pure Spright. The deck was really good. I don't think there's a whole lot that I would change other than like the side deck. I really want to try fitting a 3rd pointer and trying out the artifact package. But as far as everything else, everything was good. Again, with the extra deck, I would definitely cut the Mannequin Cat just to make room for the Water Charmer, which is what I was originally doing, but opted not to at the last minute. And I think that was a really bad idea because I think I would have won a lot more games if I had just played the Water Charmer. But again, it is what it is. The hand traps were really good. Maybe want to try playing a 3rd Veiler, but probably going to take the nibs out because I'm just going to be playing at locals until the YCS basically. There's not really a whole lot of events going on near me, so I don't really see myself going to anything too crazy anytime soon. But yeah, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. And until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.